Thank you, Michelle. I want everybody to stand up. Stand up for a moment. Stop what you're doing. Stand up, please. Take off your badge. Take off your badge. Everybody take off their badge for a moment. Find someone you don't know and identify yourself to them. Just identify yourself. Hi, I'm John. How are you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Identity 101. Thank you. You can now sit down. I thought that would be a great way to get everybody a little bit of energy and to welcome you to a panel to talk about an issue that many in the ad trade rags from Los Angeles to London are talking about, and that's custom identity. Dave? So I'd like to introduce my panelists, and I'd like to introduce panelist number one, the person on the right. Please identify yourself.
I'm a male, I think. I'm somewhere between the age of 40 and 60, I think. And that's how you typically know me within the context of digital marketing. And I'm also a real person. And I'm Mark Kiven, and I'm the founder of Signal, and I'm the customer to many of you. And I spend 33% more as a known customer with you than your unknown customers do, the people you're trying to acquire every day. Your known customers are your most valuable assets, and we're here to talk more about why that is the case.
Panelist number two.
Hello everybody, I'm from Paris, I'm French, I'm 30. I don't know if you can hear me, yeah. And so I'm Arnaud Loga, nice to meet you, nice to be with you, and I come from Publicis Media France, leading data and technology for it. So good to see you, as you are a real person.
So we have two different sides of the equation. It is a very hot issue, but a lot of people, when you're doing all of your conversations and research in anticipation of today, what is custom identity? What does it mean? How does it work? Mark?
So first and foremost, we decided to go anti-slide deck and try to be a little bit more interactive and be a little bit more conversational versus talking at everybody, which is hopefully a little bit more engaging, so we appreciate the opportunity. And John, to me, identity is what I was saying before. You as a marketer, typically your agency helping your marketers, your brands, connect with their customers is just that. You know, there's different schools of thought. There's different approaches to marketing and advertising. There is prospecting and acquisition, and there's retention and loyalty. And how do you tie it all together? And how do you have take the opportunity to have truly connected experiences? I mean, I really loved what I just saw Chegg talking about, understanding, getting to know their customer, but then taking it to the next level and being able to anticipate their customers' needs and being able to converse with their customer no matter where they see them. And so my view of addressability, my view of identity as it relates to how we help our customers, I'll put it in context of what we saw yesterday with the EasyJet example. Which is amazing. They were able to pull on the emotional heartstrings of their customers, but unfortunately within one channel, within email. Imagine being able to take the addressability of email and applying that across every customer interaction you have. And to me, that's what using and leveraging identity is all about.
Or not any additional insights?
Yeah, because as an agency point of view, for us, first step before identity, we'll be ready to do a better measurement of how many people have I reached, how many times these people have been reached. So before talking about identity, just want to have this maybe cross-device and people-based vision to do, of course, better measurement, and so better analysis in terms of insights, insights about planning, insights about buying, and insights about creative too. That's very important, and we sometimes forget it in agency.
We talked to some marketers and agencies before to get a list of questions, so we have a few. But we're going to go to questions very quickly, so if you have one, let us know, because we want to get to the questions pretty simple. Where does it sit? Where does it sit in the marketing and advertising, technology stack? Who owns it at this point?
I don't know if some owns it really, but we have to talk about walled garden for sure, because these people have the data to do that, have some identity of data. I would make a difference between Facebook and Google here. Facebook, thanks to Atlas, it was an ad server, it's now a measurement tool, has this power to do, with really accurate data, to do this kind of identification, and so better addressability. Of course, they do deterministic way of measurement and probabilistic, and I think you will speak about that too. So, of course, they own it a little bit for our point of view. I think you own it too on your side.
From my perspective, John, I think identity is a cross-functional initiative. And I think both the internal data side of the business, along with the outbound marketing side of the business, really need to come together. And I think first and foremost, identity sounds like a very scary word, but it's really it's knowing your customer. It's your customer list. It's taking all the behaviors that your customer exhibits within the context of your owned and operated assets across your website, across your mobile app, your mobile web, your call center, your kiosk, your points of sale, and connecting that to how you interact with your customer, both within that environment and in the paid and earned environment, and along that customer journey. Because yesterday we heard a lot about the customer journey within many of the examples, but to me that was really kind of limited to the customer journey within media. The customer journey doesn't stop in media. It doesn't start and stop in media. It starts and stops wherever your customer is. And so being able to identify and recognize your customer every time you engage with them and talk to them the way that Chugg just talked about, how they've learned about their customers, is what will drive that connectedness. Generation Z, if you want to put a label on it, they expect information in their hands the moment they request it. They expect you to know them. And and not by channel, but whenever they encounter you. And it's those brands that respond to those customers in a known way that will really, grow with that generation.
As you sit in one of the world's premier agencies in Paris and you interact with a lot of clients, when they do bring this up, what do you say? What's the conversation that you're leading on where identity is going?
Yeah, preparing this discussion this morning, I understood that we would be very totally agree. So you won't have a fight today about our point of views, because one thing very important about identity today, and what I say to many clients I support on that, or I work with, is really to get this data from maybe CRM or digital, of course, to enrich all the consumer journey we have about the internet, and also about all the offline data we can get, because we have to do this connection. Today, the offline data is really people-based, I would say, and the digital one is not. So there is a big difference in favor of offline. So I think the next step really will be to do this connection, and as you said, really to create this consumer journey and to address better people. I work with many luxury brands, and it's not possible for luxury brands to speak differently to the same person 3 different ways, because they think they are different people, or because they don't have any information about him. So I totally agree with you on that.
One CMO of a global 50 company told me that identity is going to be one of the 3 things talked about most in 2018. So what kinds of companies are already seeing success with identity programs? I
mean, from my perspective, obviously it's brands or companies that that do have a known customer list, that have maintained a solid or relationship with their customers, that are good at connecting with their customer on a one-to-one basis within the context of email, and I hate to say it in a digital conference, but even direct mail. But then, recognize how to move that through the organization and leverage it with their agency. I think the agency plays a very, very important role. This isn't, from my perspective, this isn't about just leveraging only Facebook as the platform. I mean, I heard something really interesting before, and to me, the young lady said that it's about all the groups that she belongs to. It's not about Facebook. It's about the groups that she belongs to. So don't lose sight of that. It's about your customer. It's not about the media channel itself. And how do you connect with your customer where you see them? And so that's what I think the brands are going to be thinking about.
And I have to say, maybe just for me in France, but few brands do that today, do this end-to-end customer journey analysis and activation. So the ones I think about is more in travel, or in telco today that are more advanced on this subject. But many other ones are quite far away on that. And I think that's a good thing because we have lots of potential about that. So that's what I see in France.
We'd like to go to questions. I've got one on privacy, but do we have any questions? If our audience is out there right over there, if you'll get to her. But my quick question is, how can brands manage the privacy concerns? It's always, I personally think it's a bit overrated, but how do you think the privacy issues?
I think I would need maybe 2 hours to speak about that with the French legacy. So I won't do it now, but maybe more global point of view.
It's a great setup to ask a French guy about
I know
privacy.
that was on purpose.
I got a question. Has anyone been on a dating website and then found that pop up Facebook as a friend, and you may have not ever have known their last name? And because WhatsApp and LinkedIn and all of these companies are amalgamating their products, they're now sharing your data on different platforms in those environments. What are your thoughts on how the industry should have a voice and opinion on what information lives in WhatsApp and what gets passed to Instagram and Facebook, as an example?
Yeah. Well, I think there's your privacy question right there. And so I think it's the responsible, so thank you for that tee up, but I think it's the brand's responsibility to maintain that connected relationship with their customer and make sure that it's an agreed upon relationship. And I think if the brand treats their customer in an honest and open way and communicates to them with valuable information relative to where they're at within their journey relational to that brand, then the consumer is going to be more accepting and respectful of the brand. So, I see it as a two-way street. So yes, the brand might leverage that information to become or stay connected to their customer, because it is difficult across the fragmented media landscape that we all are here, trying to analyze and figure out the value of. So it's reasonable to believe they're going to leverage those types of those types of connections, in essence, to stay connected to their consumer. But if they stay connected in an honest and open way, then the consumer, the respect will be mutual.
One marketer said to me that her concern about the whole idea of identity is FOMO, that she would be the fear of missing out if she wouldn't be addressing it. And she really didn't go into detail by what she meant, except she's concerned because this natural evolution of where it's going, this would be the next step. And listening this morning to several of the presentations from Air Canada to, I thought the Havas presentation was very, and BMW was very interesting. They got to where identity is going, and it sort of felt like they were missing the next step.
Again, my perspective on the fear of missing out is, I think identity or onboarding, as you might know it today, is there's this fear of you're not using your customer list, for better targeting. To me, it's about storytelling. So if you feel you're not telling the right story to your customer and staying connected to your customer across the journey, customer calls into a call center in the morning, I'm a bank, They have a complaint about the delay in time that it's taking for my mortgage application. That customer goes into the bank in the afternoon to make a deposit, and that teller doesn't know about that interaction with the call center in the morning. Shame on you, bank, or me. That's a connected experience. That is what will drive repeat business, that will drive loyalty, that will drive retention. Much of what I'm hearing about from fear of missing out is around prospecting and acquisition, and it's not really about bridging the chasm, which is what the consumer's mind is at, which is around retention and loyalty. How do you stay connected with me as a consumer?
And we were speaking this morning about the new generation that would not understand that there is such a gap in their process of buying or process of searching, process of thinking. And I think today we really have to address them because it would be ununderstandable for them.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. I'll bring it to you quickly.
With the risk of being provocative, I'm going to respectfully disagree with the notion that advertisers or brands should be concerned with managing one's identity, because I think the identity belongs to that person, and it's not on us, nor should it be, to actually pretend that we understand where one wants to build its identity. However, what I'm curious to hear from your experience is, where do you think data can help us understand those moments of permission when you can actually interrupt one's life or the daily, the day in a life, so that you can offer a product, a solution, a brand? Thank you.
First and foremost, I would kind of respectfully disagree. I don't think I'm managing somebody's identity. It's what I already know about you as my customer and how I continue to enrich that. I'm building, as a marketer, I'm building an asset that is of value to me as a marketer. As I said, earlier, that 33% of brands' sales come from their already known customers. I mean, that's from repeat customers. That's incredibly valuable. So I'm not out creating an identity for you and managing it for you but I am trying to figure out how best to connect with you. And when I do encounter you, and my perspective isn't to be disruptive, I think it's to anticipate, so that when you do engage with me as a brand, I'm there, I'm prepared to deliver to you information that's relevant to you, where you're at within the journey as it's relational to me. That's what I believe is my responsibility as a brand to you, versus being disruptive, and versus kind of guessing at and bucketing you into an audience. I think the generations of the future, as we just saw here, are going to demand the right information at the right time in their fingertips.
And again, we are not really using your identity. We are using the data we have about you just to enrich our knowledge about your consumer journey or you, just to tell a story. So it's not maybe an interruption that we can see that maybe it's utopist, but just a story we want to count you, just thanks to data we have on you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for it.
Thank you.